We've been using the American Express Cobalt credit card for a full year now, and throughout that time, we've seen changes to the card itself, we've seen changes to our own personal spending habits, and we've also had the opportunity to use some of the points that we've earned on some pretty cool trips. Now, generally speaking, if we go back to when we were first thinking about getting a new credit card, there was a lot to think about because at the time, we only had our very first credit cards that we'd ever had, so basic cashback credit cards from the bank, and then we had one extra cashback rewards card. So like a lot of you, this was very new to us at that time. Now, over the past few years, we've seen the AMEX Cobalt go from the obvious no-brainer card that we even described ourselves as the one that makes sense for most people, and keyword being most, not all, to now more recently, we've been hearing people say that it's potentially being overtaken by one of American Express's other credit cards. Well, in today's video, we're gonna break down whether or not you should get a travel rewards credit card, exactly how many points we've earned after one full year with the card, and also what our experience has been like so far, and also whether or not the American Express Cobalt is still worth it. So let's get into it.
Okay, so we're not gonna keep you guys waiting because we wanna make sure that we're being as transparent as possible here. So right off the bat, we've earned a lifetime total of 280,131 American Express points, and we're currently sitting at 179,131 points. Now, before anyone gets too excited, we do need to point out that not all of these points were earned through our direct spending. Some of these points, let's say around 100,000 or so, were earned either through our welcome bonus or through us referring other people whenever possible. It's interesting because we actually couldn't refer anyone for the better part of the last year because American Express randomly decided to deactivate our link. So basically, whenever a friend or any of you guys asked us for a link, it really sucked that we couldn't get you guys a better welcome offer. Apparently this happens a lot to other people, so it's not just us, but again, it's still very annoying. But luckily our link is currently back up and running, so if you're looking to get a better welcome bonus than what's currently listed on the American Express website, make sure you check it out. Anyways, to break this down further, I would say that about 170,000 of our lifetime points came from us actually spending money on the card, which is still a lot of points. If we take a closer look, we use the Cobalt for the majority or most of our spending, with groceries being the most consistent spending category each and every month. I would say that we rarely ever use our TD Visa Infinite credit card, with the exception of car rentals and other travel related purchases, which is basically the main reason why we got the card to begin with. Now, in order to really understand how all of this actually went down, let's do a quick refresher on what the Cobalt is and what it has to offer.
Now, the American Express Cobalt credit card is what we like to call an everyday credit card with a fee. You pay an annual fee of $155.88 per year, but it's actually paid for on a monthly basis. So you're charged $12.99 per month, and it's charged directly to your account. So it's basically like having a subscription to a streaming service, but back before they didn't cost as much. Now, over the past couple of years, their welcome bonus, or membership rewards points, as they like to call them, has sat at 15,000 points for new cardholders. And by the way, it used to be 30,000 points, so it's definitely gone down over time. Now, similar to the fee, your membership rewards points are also earned monthly after each billing period. Basically, if you manage to spend at least $750 on your card each month, then within your first year of being a new card holder, you'll earn 1,250 points per month until you hit that total of 15,000 points. Now, beyond the welcome bonus, if you're wondering why you would get this credit card over any of the other credit cards out there, first off, you can check out this video where we give the full overview of everything. But generally speaking, it's based on the categories of spending that you're rewarded for with this card. With the Cobalt, you earn 5 times the points on eats and drinks, so think restaurants, food delivery apps, like grocery stores. You earn 3 times the points on eligible streaming subscriptions, you earn 2 times the points on transit gas and ride shares, and you earn 1 times the points on everything else. On top of that, you also earn 1 additional point for any AMEX travel booking online. So basically, if you book hotels or car rentals, anything like that, through their travel website. As you can see from what I just listed, the rewards for all of those categories combined, and the keyword being combined here, are pretty uncommon when you think about where people spend the bulk of their money, especially depending on their age. If you're someone who primarily spends their money on food, then 5 times the points is huge, and that category alone might actually earn you more than what the card is charging for its annual fee. Now, for us, using this card has actually thankfully been really simple throughout the first year, I know there are people out there who complain that they have a hard time finding merchants who actually accept American Express, but for us, and maybe it's just us living in a big city, that's definitely been the exact opposite of our experience. We've actually found that almost every restaurant, store, or online shopping website that we visit accepts American Express, and every now and then we'll pop into a smaller store at the train station or a Costco or maybe select grocery stores that only accept Visa and MasterCard. But beyond that, we exclusively do our weekly grocery shopping at a grocery store that accepts Amex, and we also rarely run into stores that don't accept it. Also, at some point over the past year, we decided to move all of our streaming subscriptions and just all of our recurring bills over to the Cobalt so that we'd continue to earn even the smaller amount of points in these different categories that we were guaranteed to spend money in regardless.
Now, when it comes to analyzing our actual spend for the year, we definitely earn the most points on travel, simply based on travel expenses being the most costly items within our budgets. However, what felt really great and where we truly earned the most points from a dollar to points perspective was on food. If you remember from our previous video on this topic, this was the main category that we had pretty much banked our entire decision of whether or not we were gonna get this card on. Basically, after looking at our budgets, we concluded that we easily spend around $600 a month on food, and more specifically on groceries. Based on that fact alone, we knew that we would likely spend even more than that within the eats and drinks category within certain months. Now, I can't give you an exact breakdown of our points earned by category for the year, simply based on the fact that they don't give you that information. But what I can say is that we definitely earn the bulk of our regular spending points within this category alone. On the other hand, what we can say was a bit of a big blow to the card itself was the change that they made to their travel related perks. So basically pre-October 2024, if you were booking anything travel related, you earned 2 times the points and an additional point if you booked your travel related expenses through the American Express travel website. We personally managed to sneak in our flights to Kenya last year right before the big change, and thankfully we booked through the American Express travel website, so we actually were able to earn 3 points for every dollar that we spent. But now when you're booking, they only give you 1 times the points for travel and an additional point if you manage to find whatever you're looking for, so travel related, using their booking portal. To me, this kind of sucks, especially as someone who's always looking to redeem all of their points on flights. But I will say that it's made our TD Visa Infinite credit card that much more of a go-to for travel related purchases. So realistically, we don't need to pay for all of our travel purchases using the Cobalt, especially when we still earn travel points using our other credit card. And when the bulk of our points earned from the Cobalt are being transferred to our airline of choice anyways. Overall, the vast majority of people get the Cobalt for that 5x multiplier on points anyways. So all is well.
Now, over the past couple of months, we've been seeing some different videos and articles challenging the Cobalt as one of the top everyday credit cards, actually primarily at the hands of the American Express Gold card, and it's left some people wondering if the Cobalt is still worth it. Well, before we answer that question, let's make sure that we're all on the same page about a few things first. So contrary to what you might think or hear about a particular credit card, no matter what credit card you get, so the Cobalt or otherwise, you won't just start automatically earning points, rewards, or cash back just because you get that card. The card itself has nothing to do with anything really. The main thing to remember here is that unless you hit the necessary spend, you probably won't earn that many points. And this really goes out to every new grad or student who's just starting to make a little bit of money and really wants to get that new credit card that they've been hearing about, or really just to anyone who's never really put much thought into their credit card setup until now. First and foremost, you have to spend money in order to earn points. That's the baseline concept to this whole credit cards plus points thing. If you're not already spending a decent chunk of money or planning to start spending a decent chunk of money soon and in specific categories, then you likely aren't in a position to be signing up for a rewards credit card, and I'm specifically talking about the ones that come with an annual fee. And this is okay, by the way. It's actually a great thing to not be spending a lot of money. Now, when we say this, we're often still met with, okay, so what's the best credit card to get? Or do you think that I should get the AMEX Cobalt? Well, the answer to that question is it depends. And it specifically depends on where you're at in your life financially, which really translates into how much money you're spending in a month. For us, when we were initially looking at different credit cards, and specifically different credit cards that had an annual fee, we knew that we cared a lot more about travel rewards and less on cash back rewards, simply because that's where we are in our lives right now. We're opting to direct most of our discretionary spending towards travel, so if we're able to find savings in what would otherwise be a very expensive activity, then that would be great. Hence why we went towards the AMEX Cobalt credit card. Now, even though it doesn't reward you for travel as much, it does allow you to use your everyday spend to earn points that you can redeem for travel. As of right now, I would say that we're definitely still in this credit card points era where your parents, famous, your friends, of course, different influencers are constantly talking about how they were upgraded to first class, or maybe in some cases how they flew for free using credit card points. So it makes sense as to why there's so many questions on what to do and what credit card is best. From our perspective, credit cards that have an annual fee are an and instead of an or. You can add them in once it makes sense to do so, but you shouldn't go out and look to get one just because it can actually really hurt you financially. Either from you spending more money than you can actually afford to just to meet these different spending minimums and thresholds, or it could hurt your relationship with a particular credit card company if you're ever forced to downgrade your card, if that's even possible, or you're forced to cancel your card, which can hurt your credit score.
Now, when it comes to the American Express Gold card, I can see how on the surface, especially given their recent increase in their membership rewards points, so that's the welcome bonus points, I can see how you might think that it's a more optimal card. After all, since the last time we looked at these cards, the Gold card is offering 110,000 membership rewards points, which is up from the 60,000 that they were offering last year. But here's the thing. After the first year, once you've collected all of those points and assuming that you're able to meet all the different and various spending thresholds, what do? At its base, the card offers very similar perks to the Cobalt. So we're talking travel, shopping, mobile coverage, American Express experience, etc., all for a $250 annual fee. When it comes to travel though, the Gold offers a $100 travel credit, priority pass for airport lounges, a $50 Nexus card statement credit, as well as a few other perks that are travel related. So from a travel perspective, all of that sounds pretty good, but from a spending perspective for the average person, we're looking to be rewarded well for our regular everyday spending. And after year one, you mean to tell me that I get 2 or maybe even 1 times the points on eligible eats and drinks, aka food, when I could be earning points a lot quicker with that 5x multiple on the Cobalt? To us, the Gold looks way better than it did a year ago, but it's still catering to the person who spends the majority of their money on travel and cares more about the Amex travel specific perks as opposed to the person who's just trying to earn points from their regular everyday spending that they can then transfer over to an airline or a hotel of their choice. To me, the Cobalt is still much more simple and rewarding for the average person. So I guess to answer your question of whether or not the Cobalt is still worth it is absolutely still worth it. And to us, it remains as a top daily spender card for the average person. With that being said, we hope that you guys enjoyed this review of the AMEX Cobalt card, and we'll see you guys next week with another video.